This video is on slope and rate of change. So we do have a booklet that we will be doing in later videos, but before we move on to the booklet, let's talk about Mr. Slope Man. We're going to draw a face here that will help us represent all of the different types of slope that we can have when we're dealing with lines. So the first thing I'm going to draw is Mr. Slope Man's eyes. So his first eye in pink, is going to be a plus sign, and I'm going to draw his eyebrow going this way. His other eye is going to be a minus sign, and his eyebrow on this side will be going this way. Now to draw his nose. His nose, I'm going to draw in brown, is a vertical line with a U shape with it, underneath it. Then I need to draw his mouth. His mouth is going to be in green. It's going to be a horizontal line with a circle at the end. Now, the reason why I drew all this is to show the different types of slope that we can have. And underneath Mr. Slope Man, we have the types of slope. And I'm going to be doing the same colors that I've used on the face, as well as the symbols to represent everything about the slope. So, positive slope is actually his pink plus sign eye. Positive slope is when we have his slope going up and to the right, and it's going to be a positive sign. Positive slope is when you go up and right. So you would go up and then you would go to the right. Or positive slope could be backwards for both of them. It could be down and then to the left. So if we went down and then we went to the left. So if I were to connect these, I would be going up and to the right, or I'd be going down and to the left. So I can connect the ends, and I'd have the same type of eyebrow, the same type of line going up and to the right or down and to the left. I'm going to draw a little line here to separate them. My negative slope will be his other eye, which is the minus sign. I'm going to draw that in blue. So I'm going to have my minus sign. And then our slope will look like this. It'll be that diagonal that goes down and to the right. So there are two ways of looking at it. You can go up and left. So you can go up and then you can go left. So to connect them, you'd have your line going down and to the right. Or, as I've just said, you can go down and right. So down and then go to the right. The reason this happens is because the numbers, if you go up, that's a positive. If you go left, that's a negative. So a positive and a negative give you a negative. Now for positive slope, up and right. So up is positive, right is positive. So a positive and a positive give you a positive. But down and left, down is negative, left is negative. A negative and a negative give you a positive. So when you go in a positive and a negative direction, you're going in a negative direction in the end. Then we have his nose, which is that vertical line, and a U for undefined slope. So in brown, it's the vertical line with a U, because the U stands for undefined. Undefined slope is when you have a vertical line, if you are looking at the graph itself. So a vertical line goes up and down only. It does not go diagonal, it does not go in any other directions, it is up and down. You get this if you're looking at the numbers, like I was saying earlier, a positive and a negative give us the negative. Well, how do we get undefined? Undefined comes from when you have a number, any positive or negative, and you divide that number by 0. You cannot divide by 0. So whenever you have something divided by 0, that is undefined. Even if you put it in your calculator, you get an undefined. You'll get an error. If I type in my calculator, 5 divided by 0, I get an error, and it says divide by 0, because we cannot divide by 0. That is an undefined slope. So then the last piece of Mr. Slopeman is his mouth, which is a 0 slope. In green, this is where it came from Mr. Slopeman. It's because it is a horizontal line. So on the graph, you would have a horizontal line. Horizontal line, which goes from left to right. Now the slope is 0, which is where that circle comes from. Now again, where does that actually come from if I'm looking at numbers only? So it comes from when you have 0 divided by a number. As long as the number is not 0, again, remember you cannot divide by 0, but if you have 0 on the numerator, your answer will just be 0. So again, if I go into my calculator, and remember 5 divided by 0 gave us an undefined slope, so that's bad. But if I do 0 divided by 5, my answer is 0. Because 0 divided by anything, as long as it's not 0, is fine. So if I do 0 divided by 0, again, it's bad because my denominator is also 0. 0 in the numerator is fine as long as your denominator is not 0. So even if I do 0 divided by -5, I still have 0. That is the 4 different types of slope that we can have: a positive slope, a negative slope, an undefined slope. Again, it's a vertical line, and it happens when you have a number divided by 0. If your denominator is 0, it is automatically undefined. You can also have a 0 slope, which comes from a horizontal line, and if you're looking at the numbers, it's when 0 is in your numerator and any other number is in your denominator. These are the 4 types of slopes.